Welcome back to SportsLine right here on News Channel 5+. In just a second, we're going to hear from Titans head coach Mike Vrabel, who addressed the media earlier today over at St. Thomas Sports Park before Titans practice. Right now, we're going to hit the phones for the first time. Let's check in with Scott. Hey, Scott. Hang on. All right, let's try that again. Oh, I think we lost him. Sorry about that, Scott. Call back. All right. In the meantime, here is head coach Mike Vrabel talking to the media today before Titans practice.
Mike, how do you set the tone, or what's the approach of trying to bounce back, going on the road, and trying not to press too much but make the corrections that are needed?
Well, I mean, I think it's got to be the same every week. You know, whether you win or you lose, you have to clear it and prepare for the next opponent. And this is obviously a huge challenge for us, one that we're excited to get ready for. You know, learn their personnel, understand what it's going to take to go on the road and win out there, which is difficult. You know, I mean, they've only lost, maybe 8 times in 3 years, in the last 3 years, including, playoffs and everything else. So they're a lot of success in that stadium. We understand that, and we'll have to do everything that we can do to prepare for that, to go out there and give ourselves a chance.
What challenges does the Seahawks defense present?
I think they're good on all levels. I think that they're multiple in their scheme. I think that the front, they play a lot of guys up front. They play hard. Obviously, Wagner and Adams, solid up the middle, the leaders of their defense. The inside guys are big, they're stout, they play, they're hard to move. Indy tried to move them a couple times in short yardage situations. It was difficult, but they play hard, they're active on the edge, and disruptive.
You mentioned being active on the edge. One of the guys that use a lot there is Jamal Adams. When you see a safety, be able to have that impact, what type of stress does that put on your offense?
Well, he's all over the place. Jamal's done that for a long time. It's a good instinctive player. Excellent blitzer. Can cover. Obviously tackles and finds the football. I think just the instincts that he plays with, allows them to put him in a lot of different places.
Not needing it last year, do you expect the silent count to be like riding a bike for most guys, or do you have to spend a little extra time with it this week?
Well, we may fall off the bike a few times this week, but we're going to practice it, and we're going to have to. We're going to need it. We're going to need it early. So it's something that we're going to have to prepare for and be able to function and operate, and not use that as an excuse.
Is there any benefit, Kyler Murray or Russell Wilson, prepared for one and not yet another, or is there enough difference between those two that it's really not the same thing?
I mean, every week's different. I mean, I think, Kyler obviously is, faster than Russell. I mean, Russell does a great job of avoiding the rush and sliding 3rd and 9. Indy was coming home with pressure, and there was a crease there in the B gap the other day, and he took it. It was an excellent feel for being able to pump fake and get guys off their feet, but still keep his eyes downfield. He's excellent on the boot game. They ran a number of those that were successful last week as well.
How much is Taylor's recovery part of what happened to him? How much do you have to calibrate for that and what he does going forward now?
I mean, I think that'll be, something that, this is a good opportunity to bounce back and face adversity. And, again, when things don't go well, that got to figure out what kind of team we have. And I would say that they didn't go well last week. I'm confident that, we'll prepare, and Taylor will be part of that group that's going to go out and work and try to focus and understand his matchups, understand the scheme, and how we have to play. And we all have to play better. We all have to coach better.
The other recoveries usually, though, do take some time when you come back. Is that something he's going to be battling for a while?
His recovery, I don't know. That would be something that you would have to talk to Taylor about. I only try to figure out who's cleared and who can go, and if they're cleared, we practice them and then make a decision on whether we're going to play them.
What do you think from the good work he's been here? Does he have some benefit to being familiar with things in Seattle?
I mean, everything changes year to year, but there's a base concept, and I'm sure Bradley, remembers some things that they did out there. It's difficult when you're out there in live action to try to, understand things, and hand signals change and calls change each year. So, we're excited to be able to work with Bradley, since he's joined us. So, with the way things that are going, I'm sure he'll continue to play for us.
He didn't have a lot of time here with you in camp. What did he show quickly that he's managed to stick around?
He picked up the defense well. He picked it up quickly and, performed well in practice and the opportunities in the game. So that's really all we ask of anybody that's coming in here new, is just to pick it up as fast as you can and take advantage of every opportunity you get.
Talked about trying to get some more targets for AJ and Julio the other day. I wonder if you could talk about kind of the balance between trying to get guys more targets and forcing balls.
Every play is, got some first read options, some second read options, and so you try to design plays for guys that you think will be in good position. Sometimes that always doesn't work, and I think that's up to the quarterback to progress through and not to force it, not just to throw it into a team meeting just for the sake of saying we're going to try to get this guy the football, or so I think that's important now. How the quarterback distributes the ball. I mean, he's in charge of the football, and he's got reads that take him to certain places on every play.
What did you think of the separation?
Follow up, John. Just be louder than Paul when you follow up.
The one on Julio, the one that wound up being an interception, is that an example of maybe trying to force it in to a situation there, or was that a reasonable expectation of a catch there?
I think that we always expect guys that when it hits them in their hands. I think that whether there's in traffic or not, I think that Ryan's trying to progress through and went to the second window. There's a lot of plays we'd like to have back. So, hopefully this week when we get presented with the same situation, we'll be able to execute.
What do you think of the separation and speed, and how much better can you be in those departments?
We can be better in every department. If you're basing off Sundays, what we did Sunday, I would say that we can be better in every category that you could mention, whether it's speed, pass rush, running the football, blocking, tackling. That's just what it's going to be.
And when you're in that situation where there's a lot of things that need correcting, how do you decide sort of what to emphasize, and is it possible to overwhelm? I'm sure you're not standing in a meeting with 30 different points of emphasis.
No, I think the emphasis is what we feel like is going to be important this week, being able to get going here on Seattle, their schemes, their personnel, our game plan, handling the atmosphere, the weather, the environment, everything that goes into traveling out there and playing. So, certainly don't want to overwhelm anybody. And, we talked about, trying to be precise and not be perfect. You're never going to be perfect, but, precise is pretty darn good. And that's understanding what you're supposed to be doing, moving with a great speed, understanding what the concepts are, but not living in this world of being perfect. That if this happens and that happens, and you can't play the game like that.
Coach, there's been some losses in the past that you guys have bounced back from really well, and this seems to set up like a situation what goes on in that locker room after a loss maybe like that, where they're let down to season opener and you've got a big test here coming up?
The process is obviously everybody's disappointed after you lose. We've moved on. You have to, and so the full emphasis is about Seattle and changing our mindset to them, which I think we have. I know we have. Having watched tape and visited with the players already today, their meetings and what we're going to be able to go do on the practice field is about having a great practice. Start stringing plays together. If it's not a play you like, then we got to move on and keep going, make the corrections after practice, and then come back and start to add in some of the situational stuff with third down in the red zone and get ready to travel.
A lot was made about your comments, your response when asked about Julio Jones' penalty. I know you've used that phrase before, but was that sending a message, or was it just simply a response?
I don't think I've ever said anything in front of you guys or these cameras or this microphone that I haven't said to the players. I hope not. That's never my intent. They've heard it from me well before I've come out here. So, and that just happened to be that specific play. And it could be somebody else the next time. I mean, we're just trying to coach, the actions and not the result. Sometimes that doesn't get flagged, right? But the next time it will. Or, maybe there's a holding or a block in the back that doesn't get called. Well, we're still going to coach it. We're going to coach it whether it gets called or not. So we're trying to focus on the actions and maybe not the results.
Is it a sign you think of depth on your team, or the fact that the rookies haven't developed as well as you'd like, that you didn't get much participation from the rookies early?
I think that all depends. I see both sides of it. Preparation throughout the week, the competition through the week, the emphasis on special teams, and there's a lot that goes into it. We would like to try to continue to get those guys going as much as we can. I'm in full agreement, with that, and that's something that, we'll have to continue to do and emphasize the reps that they do get on the show team, are critical for the evaluation and for their development.
What kind of a problem does DK Metcalf present?
Well, I mean, there's just a size and strength and speed element that he has, and so you've got a big man that runs fast, that's strong, and I think if you get off balance, he's got the ability to knock you by and use his strength, and then also some of his run after the catch. So there's a lot of problems, a lot of issues, and Lockett is obviously so in tune with the quarterback and their ability to hit plays down the field routinely over and over. I mean, every game it seems like there's an amazing catch in the end zone or down the field or close to the sidelines that's really, really impressive.
What can Bud build on out of that? What do you expect from him next?
We go through these expectations, and it's the same for every player. Prepare throughout the week, get your body as ready to play as you possibly can, and go out, know what to do, play fast and aggressive, impact the game, try to follow the keys, try to execute the keys, and try to help the team win. That would be the expectation for every player.
What's your confidence level like against Randy Bullock, and how much you're hoping he just does the job? You don't have to worry about kicker anymore.
Every time we go out there to kick, I hope they do their job, Jim, no matter who it is. Whether it's Brett Kern, whether it's Randy, or the 53 other kickers that we've had here in the 3 years that I've been here.
You mentioned Carson the other day. Just what impresses you the most as a running back?
Runs hard, runs violent, runs behind his pads, got a good stiff arm. You saw him break a 3rd and 1, and stiff arm for another, 15 extra yards. So catches the ball well. They work him in the screen game and work him out of the backfield. He's in there on 3rd down. So, he's done a really good job for him. And, he's a challenge like there is every week. And this week it's him.
What happened with Ficken? Do you feel like you need somebody behind Randy now?
Yeah, we're continuing to evaluate that, but I think that's always something that we're talking about and discussing, having the ability to carry somebody in the case of an emergency, a case of, obviously we're still dealing with COVID and testing and those types of things. So we'll continue to look at that. Thank you.
Tucker McCann, is he still, I know he was hurt at the time, but is he?
Tucker's not on our team right now, so I don't know. I wouldn't want to comment on Tucker or players that aren't on our team. I think that, that wouldn't be for me to answer.
Good. All right, there you have it. Titans head coach Mike Vrabel talking to the media this morning at St. Thomas Sports Park before Titans practice. By the way, Bud Dupree not practicing today. A bunch of guys were limited, including Caleb Farley. Actually, no, Caleb Farley was a full participant, but Harold Landry and a couple other players were limited in action today. So obviously, as you know from news earlier in the week, Amani Hooker, the projected starter at safety alongside Kevin Byard, was placed on IR, so he'll be out for at least a couple of weeks. And Bradley McDougald will be getting the start now at safety alongside Kevin Byard against the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday. So the Titans a little banged up heading in, and again 0-1, really can't afford to go 0-2. May not be a big problem for the Titans given how their division is stacked up, but certainly not a hill you want to climb out of 0-2. So we'll see what happens with the two-tone blue this Sunday, of course, in Seattle. Time for another break. When we come back, we're going to hear from Titans quarterback Ryan Tannehill. Again, what went wrong against Arizona? What do you got to do to move the ball and score more points this Sunday in Seattle? Your phone calls as well. Stay with us. SportsLine continues right here on News Channel 5+.